2 years after his wife went missing, I received a letter from my wife. There is only one crooked line of words on the letter. Do not approach the fish pond near the village entrance. Treasures who enjoy reading the final article. A tense and thrilling suspense novel. It's really refreshing to watch it in one breath. Yui reminds you, the main text has begun. My name is Chen Fan. He is a hunter from Kili village. And my wife, but on a night 2 years ago, disappear mysteriously. In the days to come, I searched the entire village and even the entire town. However, I haven't found any trace of my wife. It's like the world has evaporated. Until this evening, I returned home as usual, but on the table of the 8 immortals in the hall, I saw an anonymous letter. There are no relatives in the county town either. There are big and small things happening in the village. They all come directly to greet each other. Who would send an anonymous letter? With a hint of doubt, I tore open the envelope. I took out the letter inside. There is only one line of text above. Do not approach the fish pond near the village entrance. The content is very strange. The handwriting is crooked and twisted. I feel extremely puzzled in my heart. As a native of Kili village, I have lived in the village for over 20 years. At the entrance of the village, let alone having a fish pond, even if it's a tree planted, what nature changes have occurred? I am extremely familiar with them all. Besides, I passed by the village entrance a few days ago, but there's only a stone tablet with the name of the village engraved on it. There is also an old locust tree. I haven't seen any fish ponds at all. I am writing an envelope in my hand. Take the flashlight from the cabinet. Pull the door up at will. Turn around and run towards the village entrance. In less than a moment's time, I have arrived at the entrance of the village. Using a flashlight, I looked around and surveyed my surroundings. Because it's early autumn, the weeds on the roadside are gradually withering and turning yellow. A cobblestone intersection, a moss-covered stone monument. The tree leaves were blown by the autumn wind, the clattering old tree of shame. Seeing this familiar scene, I am extremely puzzled in my heart. Where is the fish pond? Could it be a prank by the villagers? With doubts in mind, I took out this letter again. This time, using the light from a flashlight, I have noticed some subtle differences. Envelopes and letterhead are all standardized by the small county post office. A prank. Without. I shook my head suddenly, rejecting the fleeting idea in my heart. The handwriting on the letter is too familiar. Just as I was pondering, a slightly chilly voice, coming from behind, Chen Senwazi, what are you doing here? I followed the sound and looked not far away. I don't know when. A figure appeared under the old locust tree. The flashlight shone over. It's Mr. Lai from the same village. Uncle Lee, why are you taking a walk so late? I said hello. I walked over. I saw Uncle Lee standing trembling under the old locust tree. Twist the clothes together. It's like wearing something on your body before it dries. It seems like I'm about to be blown down by the wind if I'm not careful. Because I was thinking about my wife just now. Why did Uncle Lee suddenly appear here? I didn't think too much about it either. Add people from the same village. I didn't pay too much attention to it. Quan Dang came out for a walk in the evening. Just happened to bump into it. San Wazi. This place is too cold. I should go too. Uncle Lee did not answer my question. On the contrary, he said an irrelevant sentence. It's cold tonight. It's time to go back early. I instinctively answered a sentence. Immediately after, I saw a pair of withered and thin fingers pinch it around my neck. For a moment, I have rapid breathing. Rivet your hands tightly. At this moment it's impossible to move Uncle Lee's hand even a little bit. I have been hunting all year round. I have done a lot of heavy work. I can't imagine it in my heart. A seemingly frail old man. Surprisingly, his strength is astonishing. San Wazi. Never believe anything anyone says to you. Don't trust anyone. Uncle Lee's expression is healing. Hasty tone. I don't understand what he meant by what he said. Uncle Lee let go. This moment, I would rather break free from his grasp. I desperately squeezed out a few words from my throat, but Uncle Lee in front of him seemed like a different person. It seems like you didn't hear me at all. The force on my hands is actually getting heavier and heavier. San Wazi. Hey, never trust anyone. In especial, Uncle Lee kept repeating this sentence in his mouth. It seems like something was said later, but I can't breathe right now, gradually losing consciousness. I can't hear the rest of the words clearly anymore. Just as my eyes were about to close, in a daze, I feel like someone patted my shoulder. Immediately after, a familiar voice sounded in my ear. Chen Fan, what are you doing alone under that tree at night? I just felt the force on my neck suddenly loosen. Suddenly open your eyes. I saw someone dressed in linen clothes. A young man with a cloth bag slung over his shoulder is standing beside me. He is the son of a carpenter in the village. Xiao Song. His eyes looked at me strangely. I came to my senses. I lowered my head and took a glance. My two hands. At this moment, he was tightly holding onto his neck. And I don't know what the flashlight and envelope are for. It had already fallen to the ground by then. I quickly surveyed my surroundings. Under the old locust tree. Except for me and Xiao Song. Where is the figure of Uncle Lee? Xiao Song. Did you see anyone when you came? Walking all the way here? I only see you alone. Xiao Song has strange eyes. He gave me a warning like a fool. However, I feel a bit restless in my heart. That's all the time. Uncle Li cannot disappear without a trace. Have you seen Uncle Li? Listen to me. Xiao Song instantly restrained his smile. Mr. Lai left tonight. Then a strange smile appeared. Say to me, by the way, I heard he drowned. Drowning. I was very surprised by Xiao Song's words. What? Uncle Li really drowned? I'm panting heavily. Make every effort to calm down the shock in my heart. And Xiao Song seems to have noticed my abnormality. Tell me the whole story as it is. Originally, half an hour ago, the news came from the village that Mr. Lai had drowned. When we catch it up, the person has already left. Uncle Li is childless. The villagers are currently preparing to handle the aftermath. I learned about this news from Xiao Songwei. I suppressed the doubts in my heart. This matter is quite awkward. I always firmly believe that what just happened is true. To know the answer, I'm afraid we'll only know if we get to Uncle Li's house. Half an hour later, we arrived at Uncle Li's house. I only see the white mourning couplet. The entire hall has been hung up. Center, there is a large black coffin placed. Several villagers are carrying his stretcher covered with white cloth. Go towards the hall. However, when passing by me, suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the hall for no apparent reason. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. Just lifted the white cloth. Exposed Uncle Li's household body. I naturally saw the scene in my eyes. Subconsciously glanced towards the stretcher. Strangely, Uncle Li is now sitting up on a stretcher, staring fixedly at me. Clothes dripping wet under the stretcher. Lips turned blue, continuously wriggling. It seems like I'm saying something. Don't believe anything anyone says. Do not approach the fish pond near the village entrance. My intuition tells me. That's what Uncle Li said. I was startled in my heart. I was about to ask Xiao Song next to me, have you seen the scene? But I found out that I don't know when. I'm the only one standing here. Maybe Xiao Song went to work on other things. Look around. Everyone else is busy with their own tasks. It's like nothing happened just now. I looked at the hall again. Several villagers carrying stretchers at this moment. Uncle Li's body has been placed in the coffin, with regret on his face for the passing of Mr. Lai. As for the scene of the wind just now, it seems that few people have seen it. Did I read it wrong? Impossible. Under the old locust tree, the scene of encountering Grandpa Li vividly appeared before my eyes. That trembling figure, the clothes that are twisted together. This place is too cold. I should go too. That strange expression. All kinds of signs are telling me Mr. Li did indeed drown to death. Not only, but it was before I met Uncle Li. Is it an illusion? Is it a dream? I gritted my teeth, pick up a thin bamboo stick from the ground, suddenly thrust towards the thigh. The feeling of pain comes from eating. It instantly woke me up a lot. I quickly took out the letter from my arms. The crooked and twisted words caught my eye. Do not approach the fish pond near the village entrance. This letter is a genuine existence. The funeral hall in front of us is also a real existence. So, why am I the only one who can see these things? Why did you just leave a letter? Why don't you want to meet me? I'm holding a letter in my hand. I didn't care about the blood on my legs. Anxiously walking outside the house, I didn't notice that someone walked in from the opposite direction, directly collided with it. Sorry, I realized it. Apologize quickly. Look up. It's Uncle Zhang in charge of postal work. Chen Senwazi. Do things in a hurry. Be careful of the road. Seeing Uncle Zhang, I asked urgently in my voice, Uncle Zhang, old man, where did this letter come from? As he spoke, I suddenly realized the envelope in my hand. Look at me with an eager expression on my face. A hopeful look. Uncle Zhang frowned. However, Chen Senwazi, I haven't delivered any letters to your house today. Upon hearing this, my hand holding the envelope stopped in midair. Uncle Zhang, could it be that you made a mistake? Chen Senwazi, look at what you're saying. I, Lao Zhang, work as a coastal worker. The memory is working well. Perhaps it was my reaction upon seeing me. Uncle Zhang glanced at the envelope in my hand. Senwazi, what did the letter say? Serious expression. Even the voice was lowered a bit. Do not approach the village entrance, I haven't finished speaking yet. He was rushed up by Uncle Zhang and covered his mouth. I made a gesture not to make any sound. Look at my puzzled eyes. Uncle Zhang gestured for me to look back with his eyes. I turned my head to look. I only saw the hall where coffins were placed. I don't know when many people have already stood with shadows and shadows. At this moment, all those people turned around, staring at me in the direction with a pale expression. A few wooden boards make a sound of friction. Suddenly, two thin hands stretched out from inside the coffin in the hall. Immediately after, Uncle Li stood up straight from the coffin. In my incredible self-light, it floated out of the coffin, standing in front of everyone with a yin tilt. How is that possible? I just felt my eyes jump wildly. All of this is simply illogical. Chen Senwazi, hurry up and leave. You must go to the fish pond at the village entrance. If it's too late, it won't be possible. Just as I was stunned, Uncle Zhang pushed me out of the door. I copied out a wooden knife from somewhere in my hand, rushed towards the funeral hall. Uncle Zhang. Don't say a word when you see Uncle Zhang. Swung the wooden knife and slashed towards the villagers. I was taken aback. However, the wooden knife was firmly cut down on those villagers, but there was no scene of blood splattering as imagined. Instead, there was a resounding sound of metal collision. Hurry up! Uncle Zhang did not turn back. After shouting again, he rushed straight into the hall. I got tangled up with Uncle Lee's body. I was about to step forward and help, feeling the pain in my legs. Immediately turn your head and run away. This kind of monster that can't even cut with a knife. What's the use of me rushing up empty-handed? I'm running, while forcing oneself to calm down. Fish pond. Go to the fish pond at the village entrance. There's only one thought in my mind right now. However, how did Uncle Zhang know the contents of the letter? I am very certain I didn't include what was in the letter just now. Tell Uncle Zhang all the content. Just as I was pondering, a scream of a rash person came from behind. I heard it. It's Uncle Zhang. I suddenly glanced at Uncle Lee's house. Vaguely, I saw Uncle Lee holding Uncle Zhang's household in one hand, covered in blood, chewing half a finger in his mouth. Her gaze was crimson beyond measure. Keep an eye on the direction I'm leaving.